Hi, it's me, Cameron. I tried to get the camera angle correct, but I don't think it's quite there, but we're still going to do our best to run with it. Um, I have new braces in today. I switch them out every week. So it's like a new pair. So I might not talk as well as I did last time, so I apologize for that in advance. It is extremely painful to have these in on the first day. And by extremely painful, I mean it's just moderately annoying, but if I say extremely painful, then people don't ask questions. So we're gonna stick with extremely painful. If I slur my words or I stutter or anything like that, that's my excuse. Honestly, when these come out, I'm probably just going to keep saying that I have braces so that way I can just have like a free pass to stutter as much as I want. It's nice. It's really convenient. Um, Firstly, I wanted to thank everybody for all of the support on the last video. I would have never in like a million years ever imagined that any more than like two people would have watched that video. And it was like such a weird thing, like checking every day and seeing like, oh, it just went up another 100. It just went up another 100. Now it's like over 500. Now it's over 700. And I know that's not a lot for like YouTube metrics or anything like that, but the fact that that many people listen to what I have to say, it means a lot. When I made that, I kind of just thought I'm gonna turn a camera on and say how I'm feeling right now, and I'll just put it online for some reason. But there was so much support, and not even just like in the comments or anything like that, but people I haven't heard from in a long time, like reaching out to me, like calling and like messaging and stuff, just being like, "Hey, I saw your video." There was one friend I don't speak to that often anymore, not because we're not friends, but because they're just very busy. It was like, "Hey, Cameron, I'm not following you on YouTube, like I'm not subscribed, but your video showed up on my front page, and I watched it." And that's insane to me. That's something that I said was enough to have that many people looking at it. And that really does mean a lot. And just all of the messages being like, you gotta make more videos, or you gotta keep talking, or like, I'm going through the same thing that you're going through right now. Like it takes a lot for a person to say all of these things. And see, it's the braces thing. I said that. The braces thing. It's happening already. um, it really does. I can't like put into words how important that is to me. The same day I quit my job, I stood in the parking lot for a little bit, and I kind of just had my hands in my pockets, and it was a little bit of a rainy day, and I remember looking up at the sky and going like, I just need a sign. I just need a sign that I'm doing the right thing and I'm not going to regret it. And I feel like that video really was a sign to some extent. I mean, I've never really had that much attention on any of my other videos before. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is like something I made as a joke in high school, like I was gonna say a few years ago. High school was already like 7, 8 years ago. That feels like it never even happened, you know? I mean, college, you know? I started college like 6 years ago. I've been done for 2.5 years now. And that just goes by too. And it's like what I was getting at before, in that time just goes by. We just like, we blink and it's like we're here already, you know? I remember what I said to a friend at the time on like the second or third week of college, where he was like, "Man, we already 3 weeks in, man. It's crazy." And I snapped my fingers and I said to him, "And now we're already graduated." And here we are, like 6 years later. 6 years later, you know? And there was like another friend where we were sitting at the lunch table, and they were like, "We did it, boys. First month of college done." 6 years. I don't even remember most of college anymore, aside from like the traumatic stuff. But you know, it's neither here or there. It doesn't matter. We just keep going. But that's really what I want to do. I want to keep going. I want to get better. I want to be more than what I am right now. I know I'm not going to ever be content just making a lot of money and living in a big house and, you know, having a bigger room that's not just a box or anything like that. I don't think I'm going to be a fulfilled person, well, probably ever, just because of my nature. Like, I always just want to be better. I always just want to be doing more than I am right now. But I know I'm definitely never going to be fulfilled until I do something that helps somebody else. And I realize with the mental health stuff, it's like I never really wanted to be a therapist or like work in a mental ward or like work directly with like abuse victims or something like that. I wanted to do something that had a broader impact than that. Like, when you have the worst day of your life, what do you do to deal with that? You might talk to a friend, you might, you know, eat your favorite food or something like that. But for me, whenever I'm struggling and going through like really difficult times or even the worst day of my life, I like to think that the worst day of my life has already happened and it's just going to be better from here. Fingers crossed. They read their favorite book. They watch their favorite movie. They play their favorite video game. They listen to their favorite song, or they eat their favorite food. And I want to make something that makes someone feel that way. I think of the people who are going through like the worst day of their life right now, and I want to be able to do something for that person. And I mean, like, it's such like an obvious thing now looking back on everything, is that like, yeah, no wonder I wanted to do that. I mean, like I said in the last video, it's like video games are like the only thing I do. It's like the only thing that I care about, aside from my friends, obviously, my family. You know, I'm gonna like clarify that. But I mean, when I was in college, it was like the one thing I always looked forward to every year was like the charity event that we did with Child's Play. The esports club on campus always held like a 24-hour live stream. And I always really, really, really loved doing that, because I got to go on camera and I got to just play a video game and I got to talk about the things that I liked about that. And there was, my favorite year, I would say, is when they had me on for a whole 2-hour block, and I got to talk about Hades for a bit. That's a game I like a lot. I'm probably not going to play the sequel, because I don't really like sequels that much. But for 2 hours, I just got to talk about this game that I liked. And to me, I was just talking, you know? I was just saying like, oh, I really like this part. I wasn't like trying to be funny. I wasn't trying to be entertaining. But the process of me being passionate about what I care about was funny to people. It was entertaining. They got something out of that. I mean, I remember afterwards, like, the guy in charge of the whole event, like, came over and he was like, Cameron, like, your event had the most views. Like, we had, like, the most traction while you were on. And they had me, like, commentate stuff a couple of times. The game that I commentated, apparently a lot of the players from other states didn't like me or something, so I didn't get to come back very often. But it was like, this is like every time you commentate is when we get like the most views, and like we have people talk about how fun it is to watch. And I mean, it's not even just the fact that I was able to be that. Like, I was able to be entertaining for somebody. I was able to give somebody something fun to do. It's the fact that I was helping people. It was for charity. I raised like, I want to say it was like $200 for charity, you know? And I mean, that's crazy. I've never been like a rich person. I feel like I've always been pretty poor, all things considered. Maybe objectively, I'm doing fine. Honestly, I feel like I could live in like a mud shack in the middle of like the dirt or something, covered in maggots or something like that. And as long as I had like an internet connection, I think I'd be okay. You know, as long as I had an internet connection, I could get pizza like once or twice a week. I think that's all I would need to be happy, really. Maybe no maggots. Maggots are kind of bad. Just take out the maggots, and like in the winter you would need like good heating. But I think I'd be fine. But I've never really had much money, and looking at that and going like, wow, just by being myself and putting myself out there, I I helped people. I raised money for charity, and like a charity that I care about too. You know, I mean, it's Child's Play. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, it's long and short of it is just that it's an organization that makes sure to deliver video game supplies to children in hospitals, and like equip hospitals with things that like enable children like, well, you know, you're gonna be here for like a month or two, so rather than be sad all of the time, we're gonna give you like an Xbox, or like we're gonna give you like a Wii to play something. A Wii? I'm old. I'm an old man, dude. The Wii came out like 20 years ago. But that's what I want to do with my life. I want to live. I do want to live. I don't want things to be over. But it's not even just that it's like I want to live, you know? It's like I crawled by like my nails. Like I dug my nails into the ground and they like snapped and they bled all over the place. But I crawled my way out of hell. And I finally I'm there on like the cusp. I hate these things. I'm there on the cusp of it. I can see the sunlight. That light right there. Let's say that's the sunlight. I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh, sunlight. It's right there. It's right there. The sunlight's like right there. I could just go out and grab it. Like literally. Like look at this. See, it's that easy. I gotta readjust it. But I'm like right there. I can just reach out for that and I can take that and I clawed my way out of hell. But like, I can't take that sunlight. I gotta go back. There's like other people still down there, you know? And like, I don't want to be the type of person who just lives in a big house by himself and like doesn't help people. I don't think there is a reason to be alive unless I am helping people in some way or another. And maybe that doesn't mean that I have to go to a hospital and listen to somebody's problems for a bit and then be forced to be not allowed to tell them that it's going to be okay, to get in trouble for doing that. If the system that I worked with is inherently flawed to exploit people, then I just need to go beyond that system. I just need to find some way to share how I'm feeling with the world and like let people know that things are going to be okay. And that's hard. Not even just like a matter of like getting out there, but it's hard to constantly go, it's all gonna be okay. Things are getting worse. I mean, they're always getting worse. It's just how economics work. It's not like the world's ending or anything like that. The world's just always kind of perpetually in the state of getting worse. And it's like all relative, you know? I mean, like, in like the 1980s and the 90s or something like that, it's like you had to live in like constant fear of nuclear threat. I mean, you know, early 2000s, it's not like things were better then. Things are just kind of always bad, you know? But what do people do to get through those times? They watch their favorite movie. They listen to their favorite song. They read their favorite book. People go to church. People go to church every single weekend to feel better about themselves. Why? Because of a book. Because of a very important book that stood the test of time. Whatever. English is a difficult language. It's a very difficult language. I feel like that's why people misunderstand each other a lot of the time. It doesn't help when you keep like clipping your tongue on your teeth over and over again. But I want to do something that has that much meaning, that has that much purpose. And I see so many people, so many people who aren't satisfied with their lives. I was talking about this with some friends last night, where I was just like, I'm really not where I want to be. I'm really not who I wanted to be when I grew up. And one of them just said, like, I don't think anybody is. But the difference with that is that, like, when you get older and you kind of just gradually give up on your dreams because you get more responsibilities, and I talked about this a bit before, like, you get children, you get a house, you get a car, you get, like, a beautiful spouse, or a handsome spouse, who knows? I don't know who's watching right now, But you have more responsibilities, and you're kind of expected with how awful things are to just kind of give up on it, and then maybe just go work at a grocery store, and that's fine. You do what you need to do to take care of the people and the things that you have to take care of. But I never gave up on that. My entire life, I have felt this way. And seeing so many people like comment and being like, you gotta make more videos. Like, you're right about how you're feeling. Keep your head up. It's all gonna be okay. I mean, it's like writing a message in a bottle and then throwing it out to sea just to feel better, and then waking up the next morning and seeing the entire ocean just covered in bottles. And every single one of those bottles is just full with a message that just says you're gonna be okay. And seeing that, that's what happened when I threw a message in a bottle out to sea. That's what happened when I just said how I was feeling. Now, if I try with that, if I put myself out there with that, if I make an active effort to reach people in that way, to express how I'm feeling, to share that with the world, of just wanting things to be better, what's gonna happen? $200 for charity just by showing up and being myself. And so it's like I'm just thinking that, like, how far can I go? I can go as far as I want. There isn't a limit. Seriously, I can go wherever I want. I'm going to Japan next month. That's going to be fun. I'll probably make a video or two while I'm there. I don't know. I kind of like to just focus on things in the moment. But, there's things you forget. That one really, like, cute girl in college, I didn't forget her. Didn't forget her. Hope she's doing all right. But I want to be more than what I am right now. And I want to be in a situation where the lawnmower outside isn't like making noise over what I'm saying. I want that lawnmower guy out there, or girl, I don't know. There's like a couple of, cute lawnmower girls that have been around. Good for them. But I want them to have a good day. I want whatever person lives next to me, he always has to hear me like scream through the walls while I'm playing Tekken and getting really mad for no reason. I want them to have a good day too. The reality of it is that they probably can't hear me because they're like a 95-year-old lady who's, mostly deaf, has one lung and an eye patch, but still like runs laps around the building. That's not a joke either, by the way. She's really cool. But I want her to have a good day. I want whoever is watching this video right now to know that they matter, how they're feeling is valid, and that they are going to be okay. You are going to be okay. You can do whatever you want to. And I like making this for myself too, I mean, it's hard to wake up in the morning and feel like you have a purpose when there's not like some guy in charge of you yelling at you to go have a purpose. Like, go move those boxes, or like flip those burgers. Don't forget the cheese. Bring on the mustard. Handle it with ease, But doing this is good for me because it lets me put myself out there. And I mean, look at somebody like PewDiePie, look at Markiplier. I mean, those are guys who just put a camera on and were like, hello everybody, I'm gonna play a video game. Yippee, would you like fries with that burger? And like, you see what they're doing now, I mean, like, Markiplier does like crazy stuff for charity, he's not just some pink mustache guy. It's like he really puts himself out there. One of my favorite videos he ever made was even just a video of him just being like, hey guys, I'm not doing great, and I just wanted to talk about that. And I mean, PewDiePie, like, my favorite video that he's ever made, it's like him just talking about his favorite manga. He's just like, hey, I really like this a lot, and I just wanted to talk about that for a bit. And I think that's like a really beautiful thing about being alive, is realizing that everybody's going through something and that we're really all not that different, And it's easy to feel like that's not the case when you're stuck in an environment where the people you're surrounded with aren't really like that. Like, they're just like wanting to scream. They're just wanting to take it out on you. They're not wanting to get any better. But I don't want to believe in that. I don't want to believe that that's what life is, that just having a crappy job where you're surrounded by people who are pulling you down and actively wanting to see you fail to make themselves feel better. I want to build people up. If somebody's having a bad day, I want to go to them and I want to be like, hey, let's talk about that. What's wrong? How can I help you? And whether that conversation is going up to somebody who's like sitting by themselves in a park at night crying and they just need somebody to give them a hug or something, or that conversation is making a YouTube video where somebody who needed to hear that hears that and then feels better about themselves. Or if it's making a game where you give that message of hope, or a book that makes someone get out of bed in the morning. I mean, look at Rocky. I think about Sylvester Stallone a lot. That guy was like homeless. He was like, I want to say the first thing that he did before he became, you know, like who he is like, he was so desperate for money he had to like film a porno. It wasn't even good either. The shot composition was off, you know, there wasn't even really any good scenes. You know, it's like, what's the point? But that's the thing. He was in that position where he had to film crappy porno, and he still found a way to keep going. He still didn't give up. And to me, it's like the same thing, where all I want to do is I want to make a video game, or I want to write a book, or have a screenplay picked up, or compose a song that a lot of people listen to. Or, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't think it's impossible to say that maybe I'd want to keep doing this. I like talking. I like doing this, and knowing that people listen to what I'm saying and they like what I'm saying. That means so much to me. That's just so amazing that I can just talk and I can just be myself, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't matter if, like, what I do is popular or hyper famous. I don't want to, like, be a billionaire or anything like that. But I just know in my heart that all I want to do is just have something that I made be out there for people to engage with it, for people to take what they want from that. And in that moment, the day that finally will happen, because it will happen, I'm not going to fail. I'm going to keep going until it happens. I'll know for the first time in my life. I'll know for the first time in my life that I'm not nobody. That I'm not worthless. I have so many people who believe in me and support me and want me to be successful, and they tell me how special I am. But as much as I really, really, really need to hear that at the end of the day, that doesn't do it for me. For whatever reason I feel the way that I do right now, for whatever, like, deep screaming there is in my heart to go out and want to accomplish these things, that doesn't come from anyone but myself. And with the passing of time, the reason becomes so much more remote. That's not something that anybody else can answer for me. It's a problem that comes from within myself, that I, myself, need to deal with. And right now, if I feel like I'm nothing, if I feel like I'm just zero, then that's okay. It's okay if I just feel zero right now. It's okay if I don't feel like I'm whole. Because if I keep trying, maybe someday I will be whole. And right now, even just a part of that is still better than zero. So I want to be more. I'm not content with who I am right now. And I'm never going to be content with who I am right now. I want to keep getting better. If I was the best in the world at something, I would want to be even better than that. I would want to go even further than that. When you climb to the top of the mountain, you don't stop knowing how to climb. You find higher mountains. And then what do you do when you've climbed the highest mountain in the world? There's nowhere left to go, right? I don't believe in that. Bro, we got like probes on Mars and stuff. We got like drones were like boomeranging around with signals and stuff like that. Who knows where we could go in 50 years? 5 years from now. Think of the iPhone's only been out for like 15 years. Isn't that crazy? Think about where we can go. There's no limit. We got to the moon, bro. What if there's like a cool ass mountain on the moon? Go to the moon. You can climb the mountain on the moon. When you've accomplished everything that you've ever dreamed, what do? You just dream bigger. And I don't want to ever stop dreaming. I don't want to ever keep getting better. And so I'm going to keep going because I will be more. I will. 100%. There's no doubt in my mind that things are going to work out. Even when it hurts and I don't want to get up again, you just got to get up again. You say like you're not good at math. It's because you don't study. You say you can't write. It's because you've never written. You can't draw? You don't draw. What separates the people who are successful from the people who have regrets for the rest of their life? The people who are successful just tried. They just kept doing it. I'm just going to keep doing it. It's going to work out. How far have I come even just in the past week alone by not being at that crappy job? Just by having that mindset. Through all of like the blood and the sweat and the tears, and there were a lot of tears, trust me. The second this camera goes off, it's just like nothing but like waterworks. I've gotten better. And that's what life is about. We go beyond the person we were a minute before. Little by little, we advance a bit further with each turn. It's about constantly getting better. It's not just about doing more, but being better. It's not even just about being better. It's about being your best. Every moment that you are alive, doing your best, being your best. And if you're in a position that doesn't let you do that, then just get out. If you're in a crappy relationship, get out. If you have a crappy job, get out. If there's somebody in your life who makes you feel like you're worthless, who makes you feel like you're not good enough, get out. You can leave. If you hate your job, you can just quit. You can find a better job. Again, responsibilities and stuff like that. But I mean, you can make things work. You can do whatever you want to do. Just don't hurt anybody. If you hurt somebody, I'm coming for you. Yeah, full disclosure, if like you like skin people alive and like stuff their corpses in a dumpster afterwards, this video isn't applicable to you. Now, if it makes you not want to do that, then yeah, more power to you. Don't skin people alive and stuff them in dumpsters. That's kind of messed up. I don't know what kind of person would randomly think about that. Anyways, I want to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing this because if people like this, I like doing it. Why wouldn't I do it then? It's that simple. And now like I'm getting excited and I'm punching my desk and the camera's probably going to fall like at any second now. So I think that's what I have to say today. So thank you for listening. And I'll see you next time. I don't really know. I've never really had to do an outro before or anything like that. I usually just turn the video off like that.